Hello all, it's James Johnson, aka Sulphur Blade. Welcome back to my channel, welcome back to my content, and welcome back to Heads Will Roll Reforged. So yes, my last playthrough ended terribly, and we didn't get to see any new features in it. However, I figured out how to get to some of the new content. And I've gotten to myself to the point to where I'm about to get to one of the new branches. So here we are, starting off at, I'm in William DeRoche's tent, about to assassinate him, and Ava is attempting to stop me. And that's where we are, and we're gonna carry on from this point. Moonlight reflects off the blade of the dagger going towards your throat. From somewhere on the side, another figure hidden by the shadows suddenly attacks you. Despite the advantage of surprise, the stranger's attack is inept, and you easily dodge it. Agility check passed. After that, you throw the enemy to the side with a powerful kick. As if made of paper, the stranger immediately loses his balance and falls to the ground with a groan. A woman's groan. Ava? I can't let you do this. I'd rather die. What the hell are you doing here? The man you were sent to kill. He is my father. Your father? This can't be. You said that your father is Guillaume de Lambert. And this is William de Roche, the right hand of the French king. William is Guillaume in the English manner. Guillaume Godfrey de Roche, the third Comte de Lambert. My father fought in Scotland against the English king there. Among the English, the name William de Roche stuck with him. What the hell? Tears begins to run down Ava's cheek. Please, I beg you. He's all I have. And if you kill him, then I swear to God, I'll either stab you in the back with a knife or I'll kill myself. The war started by the old men who try to settle long-forgotten scores with each other. Widely opens its insatiable bloody mouth to devour first them and then their children and the children of their children. Do you know what will happen if you kill him? The war will only flare up with renewed vigor. My father strikes fear into the very hearts of the English lords by his very presence. As long as he is alive, they will not dare to openly compete with the French army. But his death will untie their hands. Lord, you don't even seem to understand what you're doing. Today you will slit his throat and come back as a hero. Do you know what will happen tomorrow? Your beloved king will deliver a beautiful speech that victory is now at hand, and all that remains is to crush the decapitated enemy army. And you and your friends will be the first to attack and the first to die, having received nothing in return for your life, and without having understood anything. You're just a pawn in this game. Standing before the unconscious de Roche and his crying daughter with a sword in your hand, you involuntarily recall the Earl's words about the war, which is destined to last 100 years, which even the children of your children will have to fight. Perhaps Ava is right, and some orders are really better off not being followed. We're going to spare him. Realizing well that you would definitely regret it more than once, you lower your sword and take a step back. It seems like the unambiguousness of this movement lifts a rock from Ava's chest as she exhales heavily, pouring out a chaotic and semi-coherent stream of words of gratitude. Relationship with Ava has improved by 50. Virtue has increased by 20. She tries to hug you, but the loud noise from outside sobers you up, and so after throwing a farewell glance at her, you rush away. You tell your comrades that de Roche was not in the tent, And instead of him, there was some other noble doofus. The information received from the spies turned out to be incorrect. There's no time to continue the search, and all that's left for you is to get back as fast as you can. The news of your failure causes great dissatisfaction. The Earl makes it clear to you that by failing this crucial mission twice, you have severely eroded his confidence in you. Reputation with the Earl is lowered by 20. Reputation with soldiers lowered by 25. The Prince does not exert severe criticism, but points out that the night's diversion to distract the French has cost the British Army about 100 brave warriors who did not come back. And now, thanks to you, their lives have been wasted. More horrible, though, is that the failure of this gambit further confirms French army's one-upmanship. The only recourse is for Edward to negotiate peace, and obviously on far from the most favorable terms. This whole speech leaves a weird aftertaste. On the one hand, you've just put an end to the possibility of successfully completing a military campaign. On the other hand, however, you seem to have just saved several thousand lives. The XP for completing the quest, plus 20. Okay, so this is where we are right now. My attributes are 32, 21, 21, 20, 32, and 10 craftsmanship. My virtue is maxed out at 100%. My prestige is fairly high at 87. Soldier's opinion of me is 76 out of 100. Earl Northampton's opinion of me is 76 out of 100. I am the rank of Esquire currently. And I evidently have a new talent point. No, I don't. I have a weapon talent point. Okay. I've already completed swords, so now I'm sticking points into maces. And my character is a little different than my last character who was wielding axes. This time around, I'm wielding a war cleaver. The thought process behind this build that I had imagined is it says that this war cleaver has a higher chance to inflict an injury and a higher chance to inflict bleeding. But so far to date, I've gotten very little injury inflictions. I was going for a bleeding / injury build where I would build up I'd build up vitality on the Torturer's Mask. But here I am, a fair ways in, and I've only gotten 5 vitality onto the Torturer's Mask so far to date, which really isn't much. This War Cleaver really isn't doing the whole injuring thing like it's supposed to be. And I've been purposely going out of my way to try to injure things, like by constantly going after arms and slowing my rate of trying to kill things. Trying to chip away at them to cause an injury, and it's just not happening. So this build isn't working out the way I had planned, but we're still doing alright though. Evidently my wooden shield got damaged in the encounter. So I'm going to unequip that. I'm going to equip this other wooden shield, my backup wooden shield. And I've got a ton of good backup armor here. I've got this Cuirass with Mail, 3349, and all of these are 3349. I got 3 chainmails that I combined with 3 placards. So I have 3 identical versions of armor. So these are all going to be my backup armor. And then I've got a really good helmet here too. So armor-wise, I'm going into the end game pretty good. I just have a random crossbow with a bolt loaded for possible hunting when going out scavenging. Maybe I run into an animal that I can shoot. So far, it hasn't done anything for me. I don't really have any skill in crossbows either. And I am carrying around a hunting blade for the extra leather and money you get from scavenging inside of my scabbard. So that's where I am right now. I'm gonna trade away some of the loot I got in the last encounter. We got a fair amount of medicine saved up. My inventory is fully loaded. Wine bottle, strong ale, antidote 2, tourniquet, coagulant, and antiseptic bandage. So I'm ready for anything that could happen that wise. And I'm gonna go see the blacksmith real fast to get that wooden shield repaired. Okay, thank you. Alright, and how tired am I? A little bit tired. Can't do any more endurance, can't do any more coordination. So I'll throw a vitality on. And then I'll gamble, gamble, gamble. I guess I'll train one more time. And I'll pray. Nothing happened on my prayer. Okay, so now we're going into the hunting expedition and the peace talks, if you will, where everything goes wrong. Failing to kill William de Roche puts an end to any hopes of defeating the French with a decisive military action. Over the next week, several English lords, unwilling to admit the unfavorable outcome of the war, test the strength of the French through multiple skirmishes near Cambray's walls. None of them were of any real significance, though, and there is no serious success for either side. As de Roche gradually recovers and regains control over the army, with each passing day the French troops become more and more militant, proving the seriousness of their intent and forcing Edward to speed up negotiations. A formal truce was concluded shortly thereafter, ceasing active fighting. The siege had not yet been uplifted, really, but high-ranking English commanders and knights, as well as the retinue, were allowed to move freely through the town gates in and out. While the patrols were still there, and arms were still kept at the ready, it was clear to everyone that a full-fledged peace treaty was around the corner. As per tradition, a peace treaty ending hostilities between the two kingdoms is followed by a joint hunt attended by both kings. This time the hunting grounds were chosen to be the forest west of Cambrai, an area owned by the de Lambert family. Among the 50 noblemen on both sides who were to accompany the two sovereigns, naturally there was the Earl, who decided to take you along as a bodyguard. The royal hunt looks surprisingly just like a regular one, reminding you of the time your father would take you along on them. The only difference is that you and your father had never decided the fate of the entire continent while stalking a boar. Also, ale and wine did not flow like the river exactly either. You were enlisted as a guard, but this duty feels like you're a hodman so far, as you accompany the Earl, who keeps his retinue somewhat at a distance from the king and their retinues. All you do is bring bottles full of wine in return for the empty ones and reload crossbows. In the constant commotion around you, you keep spotting familiar faces among the noblemen covered in silk and gold. Just ahead is the prince who's accompanying the king. The kings, it looks like, are more thrilled by the hunt than the tiny legal details of the peace agreement. The Earl interchanges remarks with de Roche, who barely escapes death. Recalling the war in Scotland, from the sounds of it, they managed to scar each other more times than one. Thomas Marshall, who was defeated by de Roche, has been set free and now laughs loudly over something with the French commander of Cambrai, who had also been taken captive during the last assault and also granted freedom. Count Sunderland, The hand-to-hand fighting enthusiast is exchanging whispers with Count Canterbury, the leader of the mercenaries that were assembled for this campaign from every corner of Europe. Just behind Lord Sunderland is Fulton Everley, whose hide you tanned just recently. Looking around, you can take this for anything but a peace negotiation between the leaders of two armies that just tried so hard to erase each other. At the third hour, you start being pretty wary of gimme this, gimme that kinds of requests. Every now and then you take a few good sips from the bottle you bring to your superiors, gradually losing focus and having difficulty understanding who is where. A loud outcry jerks you out of this languid state. Turning your head in search of the source of the noise, you are surprised to see people around you beginning to fall to the ground one by one, wheezing. Still gathering your wits, you stumble over a huge body that has just collapsed to the ground in front of you. As you rise from the fall, you recognize it as Fulton Everley. His face is covered with blood, and there's a crossbow bolt sticking out of his throat. Sobered by this unexpected sight, you jump to your feet just to find yourself in the middle of mayhem. Around you is the most confusing fight you've ever witnessed. Only with great difficulty can you tell apart likely allies from likely foes. Both Earl Northampton and Prince Edward are nowhere to be seen. The only, at least somewhat familiar face belongs to Count Canterbury, who, surrounded by a bunch of his men, is fighting with the bodyguards of the French king. Having finally distinguished friends from foe, you immediately join the battle. And here we go. Yeah, we'll go for limbs. See what I mean? A weapon that's supposed to injure and bleed. I just hit the arms, and I did neither. Damn it. That's the one pain point of this particular weapon is shields are just a nightmare for me. You damaged my shield. Hey, we got an injury. Yeah, why not? Okay, let's take a respite. See if we can get back to fresh. No luck. Damn. Oh no. Really? I failed to recover again? This fight's not going so well. Really? I need to get back to fresh. Really? Oh, and I failed to recover? Seems like a lot of things are going wrong for me right now. I need to be somewhat fresh because there's another fight after this against a much stronger character. I'm gonna rest. I need the fatigue going into this next sec. But this guy has the Knight's bracers. Well, crap. Yep. I don't really want to use a heater shield. I'll use the damaged wooden shield. Better than nothing. The heaters are 202, where this is 001, so I'd lose 2 agility, and right now I can't really afford to lose 2 agility. In my opinion, anyway. Okay, emboldened by this victory, some of the Allies rush in pursuit of the retreating French, sensing the opportunity of snatching some valuable loot and captives who could be ransomed for quite a hefty profit. You consider joining the chase. Setting off in pursuit. You join the chase and soon notice a knight in ornate armor among the retreating troops, who, judging by the way he moves, is seriously wounded and has to lean on the assisting squire's shoulder. You catch up with them and knock the knight down with a blow from behind, intending to, after quickly disposing of the squire, declare him your prisoner. So, this is the path to get to joining the French. You have to chase. You have to give chase. This knight starts off stunned, and he has a debuff, accuracy and evasion debuff, because he's wounded. Otherwise, he's a fairly strong character. That debuff almost needs to be there to keep him from killing you at this stage. Anyway, we need to take on the arms bearer. And starting off tired sucks. After the neck. Okay, arms bearer is down. Okay, he's tired. I'm winded. I'm gonna go for the limbs, even though the neck. No, I should go for the neck, shouldn't I? Yeah. The one thing about this war cleaver I'm using is it does extra, or well, not extra damage, but it does damage to armor. So I can just kind of batter my way through armor if I need to be. Oh, why am I respiting when I need to be recovering? Oh, goody. Well, at least I'm back to fresh. Blocked with shield, of course. I'm going to take another respite. Hopefully he attacks me. He does. Good. And there we got him. So that doesn't actually kill him, because we have a little verbiage going on here. Having received another injury, the knight sinks to the ground and asks for mercy with a hand sign. And I'm going to spare him. You decide to spare the knight, and are just about to announce him your prisoner, virtue increased by 10. However, instead of acknowledging his capture and offering gratitude for keeping him alive, the knight raises the visor of his helmet, spits in your face, and hurls some finest profanities at you. Shut his mouth. A less restrained person might have responded to such rude behavior with a mortal strike, but you proved to be more gracious, and limit yourself to a preventative kick in one of his bleeding, wounded areas. Grimacing in pain, the knight is forced to interrupt his stream of obscenities while you smirk in satisfaction. This joy, however, proves a little premature, since distracted by the exchange of pleasantries with the knight, you forget to mind your surroundings. And so you fail to notice the approach of a few more French soldiers who resolve to come to the rescue of their comrades. Taking advantage of your oversight, one of them sneaks up unnoticed and delivers a heavy blow to your head that makes your eyes go dark. I have a seriously good helmet on. That would be a little difficult, I think, but yeah, they did it. Concussed. Vitality decreased by 1. You regain consciousness in French captivity. You spend the following day in the cold and dark of a solitary cell in the basement of one of the surrounding estates where you've been dumped without food or water. Your fatigue level increases, your toxicity level increases, and your vitality decreases by 5. All your attempts to yell for the guards are in vain, and just when you become seriously concerned over the prospect of being simply left to succumb to starvation and dehydration, the cell door finally swings open. Well, hello there, James. I see no point in introducing myself, since you already know me. Looks like you're doing quite well for yourself here at the expense of the French crown. A free roof over your head, security. The meals here, I suppose, are not that great, but as they say, beggars can't be choosers. I'm no beggar. Beggar or no beggar? That I cannot know. What is certain, however, is that you are a lousy assassin. Humanly speaking. I even feel sorry for Northampton. You get a rare opportunity to finally dispose of your old enemy, devise a scheme, then send a trusted man to do the job, and that trusted man drops the sword at the last moment, ruining all of your plans. The old fox must have been furious. You sound as if you're not happy about staying alive. One cannot escape death. It cannot be cheated, nor can it be postponed. Those destined to drown will not perish by an assassin's dagger, and those destined to fall on the battlefield will not die from poisoned wine. Each of us will meet his own end, and that end is known. All that, however, does not change the fact that you really are a shitty executor of orders, and if your unsuccessful attempt on my life was the only episode of your biography known to me, your fate would be of little interest to me. And yet, firstly, I'm aware of the circumstance under which you were taken prisoner. The knight you fought in the forest is called Tristan of Claremont. I have seen him in battle many times, and know him to be a great warrior. And you not only defeated him, but also spared him, thus demonstrating your worthy character twice. Tristan, by the way, has returned the favor. His men wanted to kill you on the spot, but he ordered to keep you alive. Chivalry begets chivalry. If you ever meet him again, don't forget to say thanks. But back to you. Covertly infiltrating the enemy lair, fighting bravely on the battlefield, challenging a formidable knight, even though a wounded one, these are all signs of remarkable courage. I respect courageous people. Courage is the only character trait that cannot be faked. You are either willing to risk your life, or you're not. Typically, people prefer either cloak and dagger, or plate armor and sword. Few people are ready to try on both. Fewer still can do it effectively. All this, therefore, turns you from a common loser hitman into a rather valuable person. And that's where the second factor comes into play. Your relationship with my daughter. Before we proceed this conversation, I would like to hear the answer to a simple question. How serious are your intentions regarding Ava? Fairly serious, sire. I realize that I'm not your daughter's match in status, but I am prepared to work tirelessly until I have your blessing for this marriage. Those are quite large ambitions for a lowly peasant. If any other situation, I would order you to be tortured half to death, then have your head chopped off and thrown into the nearest ditch. However, in light of all of the recent developments, I'm going to do things different this time. Ava's character and nature are well known to me, for it was I who gave her an upbringing and instilled in her the exact set of traits and qualities that I believed were right and decent. And the fact that she chose you tells me more than years of irreproachable service would say. And your refusal to take my life, along with your valor on the battlefield, only confirms it. I'm surrounded by many decent people I can rely on. But the reality is that behind each of them stands a certain house, clan, or family, and their unconditional loyalty can be counted on only as long as their personal interests are not affected. And that's a major caveat for my current affairs. Very major. You're a blank slate, an outsider in these lands. You're loyal only to Ava, which means you're loyal only to me. I need a man like you. I'm offering you a position as my bodyguard. But I've already sworn fealty to the King of England and the Earl of Northampton. The King of England is dead, son. As for Northampton, his envoys have already arrived here to discuss the return of several captured noble knights and warriors, and you were not present in their list. The realization that after getting captured, you instantly became unwanted and forgotten wounds your pride as sharp as a sharp sting. However, had you not failed to kill DeRoche, not only would you not be talking to him now, you'd probably also be on much better terms with Northampton. I've known him a long while, and I understand his way of thinking. You're a valuable man to him, just not the most valuable. Maybe you will become such in the future, but right now you are who you are. Meaning, nobody. And I'm offering you a chance to become somebody. Well, I can't argue with that. It makes sense. And if I'm going to have a relationship with Ava, maybe it's a good idea that I be on the side of her father. I agree. It doesn't look like I have a lot of options. I accept. The right choice. Let's go. I'll order the guards to return your belongings. Welcome to the French King's service. After releasing you from imprisonment, DeRoche orders his men to accommodate you near his place in the French camp and also to provide you with a meal. A hot bowl of chowder and a soft plank bed in a warm tent, with which you spend the evening and night. Sea more precious to you than any gold after being wounded and captured. At DeRoche's request, you are given a rank and a salary. You have received the rank of Esquire. You have received a salary in accordance with your rank. You've received a bonus payment in accordance with your prestige level. Your love of pillaging corpses causes you to pick up a contagious disease. Let's go see the physician. Get rid of my things. So when I when I got treated for no cost, I was like, did the doctor girl end up over here or something? But I went to try to talk to the camp physician, and there's no ability to talk, so I think maybe that's an oversight on the developer's part. I'm not sure if I was supposed to get treated for free, but I did. Okay, I'm evidently a little tired. Alright, I'm gonna gamble one more time, and I'm gonna go check in with my boss. A messenger finds and informs you that DeRoche summons you. When you arrive as ordered, you find DeRoche engaged in a hushed conversation with a person you don't know. We are beset on all sides by foes, Guillaume. By God's providence, we managed to stop the English, but that's only half the trouble. Normandy is in revolt. De Montfort in Brittany beheads royal envoys. The Castilians plunder the southern lands, and the peasants flee to the forests to escape the taxes, and the merchants back in the capital arm their own warbands in the absence of the king. The throne shakes under Jean. You know that there is no man in France who has done more for the crown in general, as well as for Jean personally, than I have. Well, well. But even I can see that the most of the problems that have befallen the king are of his own making. I scorn snobby aristocrats no less than he does, but one can treat noble people as if they were rootless peasants, especially those who shed their blood for him. De Montfort has been in Scotland with me and risked his life fighting against the king's enemies, and for what? For Jean's recent threats of potential confiscation of his title and lands, marrying a commoner instead of the royal third cousin. To be fair, the refusal to marry the king's third cousin for the sake of some village girl, no matter how gorgeous she might be, was not the smartest move. That might be so, but ruining relations with people who protect your life and crown with their swords isn't much smarter either. Careful with that kind of talk, Guillaume, especially with prying eyes around. He says the last word while looking straight at you. Now spotted, you step forward and address DeRoche. You asked to see me, sire. I will take some more time for my wounds to fully heal, but I'm ready for duty. Is this the mysterious assassin, whose unsteady hand you owe your life to? That would be him. The lad's clearly got talent, and now that talent will be put to good use for us. He might have talent, yet you still seem alive. Which means he's not much of a killer. A true professional would never waver, no matter the target. My assassins know that well. I know your assassins well too, Reglan. By the time you finish negotiating the price with them, the victim would manage to grow old twice and then die of natural causes. A good job costs good money, Guillaume. I don't have to tell you that. You clearly don't, indeed. Well, James, let me introduce you to this unprincipled gentleman. His name is Raglan. He, shall we say, assists King Jean in various confidential matters. Raglan of Toolhouse. At your service. The tone in which he delivers this makes it clear that if he's going to be at anyone's service, it certainly wouldn't be yours. After nodding in your direction, Raglan turns back to DeRoche. May I continue? This conversation is not meant for outsiders' ears. You may. I trust him. Raglan raises an eyebrow, chuckles, and shrugs. Well, you know best. After all, it is you who are responsible for your man. And I will take full responsibility if the need arises. Let's get down to business. Plans change. The king told me to pass on that he received a letter from Charles of Navarre, who wrote that the rebellion had been rapidly gaining ground and it is necessary to hurry. Raglan pauses as if mid-sentence, and Desroches narrows his eyes questioningly, clearly expecting a continuation. Raglan throws another quick glance at you and opens his mouth once more, picking his words carefully. Charles wrote that there might be more than just local nobility behind Geoffrey. The roots of the rebellion may go much deeper underground. Charles thinks that the Dauphin might be involved. The Dauphin? I don't believe this. The Dauphin is a fronder, not a traitor. Raglan shrugs his shoulders. I do not require you to believe anything. I only tell you what the king has ordered me to relay to you. The entire northwest of the duchy is already under the rebels' control, but the Dauphin... I can't say that word. Is in hurry to do anything about it and prefers to sit out in Rouen. If Charles is right, after all, and he decides to support the revolt raised by Geoffrey de Harcourt, then instead of one rebellious vassal, we shall get a whole breakaway duchy. Precisely. Obviously, I'm no expert, but I visited the de Harcourt family estate once, and I've got a feeling that storming the huge Rouen would be just a little harder than the tiny castle of Geoffrey. However, that's not my headache. I certainly won't be the one to scale any walls. It is not like we'd be able to find a ladder that could support your weight anyway. Although we could always launch you into the city from a trebuchet. A slight smile on Raglan's face suggests that he's not offended by the joke, even though he doesn't find it particularly funny. What has the king decided? Oh, wrong voice. The king has ordered me to tell you to march at once. He wants you and your men to arrive in Rouen as quickly as possible and take the Dauphin along with other potential conspirators into custody until all the circumstances are clarified, as well as to prepare the city for defense and make sure that Geoffrey's uprising does not set all of Normandy aflame. The king, with the main troops, will follow you at full speed, and obviously nobody must learn of the content of this conversation. A rebellious vassal is one thing, and a split within the royal house is a whole nother. I need no explanation for such things. God have mercy, Guillaume, it's rather meant for our new friend. Raglan cast a meaningful glance at you once again. Charles will be awaiting you at Rouen. I hope to see you there alive, and well, too. The Dauphin, is there anyone whose treachery I absolutely don't believe in? It's him. What do you think about all this, James? I have no clue as to what has just been discussed, sire. I have never been to Rouen or the de Harcourt family estate, and I don't know any of the mentioned people either. I likely won't even be able to point out Normandy on a map. 300 years ago, by the way, William of Normandy defeated the English king at Hastings and conquered your island. So you, as an Englishman, certainly ought to know where Normandy is. Well, that's fine. Soon you'll have the opportunity to fill the gaps in your education. Pack your stuff. We're going to Normandy. Okay, so let's get some training done before we head off to Normandy. Actually, we need a rest. Now that I'm thinking about it, is there a... We have a damaged shield. Let's try to equip a heater and see how terribly that changes our stats, since we're going to be training anyway. Well, off we go. Over the next week, almost all of which you spend in the saddle, DeRoche conversation after conversation brings you up to speed on current events. One of the key reasons that prompted the English king to undertake the expedition to France at exactly this time was the weakness of the French king, Jean II, along with the precariousness of his position on the throne. Raised in an atmosphere of constant conspiracies and conflicts which took the lives of several of his relatives, Jean has got an extremely harsh, cruel, and mistrustful character, and has also become very quick to retaliate. Such behavior has been a source of persistent conflicts within the nobility, and has created strong personal animosity between the king and many of his powerful vassals. With the onset of economic hardships caused by the massive plague epidemic that swept through the kingdom 10 years earlier, personal enmity was supplemented by objective reproaches of Jean's inability to halt the kingdom's devastation and the depreciation of the coin value. The English invasion became the straw that broke the camel's back. The nobility of Normandy, a region traditionally more dependent on maritime trade with England than on river trade with the Seine, refused to contribute troops to Jean's army, rallied around Geoffrey de Harcourt, who had long held a grudge against the king, and declared a rebellion. All the while, the actual Duke of Normandy, the king's eldest son and heir, with whom Jean had also got not the warmest relations, for some unknown reason, has been in no hurry to take up arms against the rebels, preferring to hole up in Rouen instead. The reason for such behavior has been unclear, and figuring them out was none of your business. Already in the vicinity of Rouen, about a couple hours' ride from the city, you make a brief stop at a village called Oisel to get respite before the last leg of your journey. The local chief, however, hastily warns you about a large band of brigands on the route between Oisel and Rouen that has recently acquired some fine weapons and equipment. As a result, these scoundrels are now not afraid to attack not only travelers or caravanners, but even the knights with small squads of squires. Therefore, taking this road is not safe. Lacking sufficient manpower at hand, DeRoche decides not to take any chance, stay in the village for another day or two, and entrust you with clearing the path. New quest added, route to Rouen. Alright, fair warning. The first time I reached around this area, clearing the brigands, I received a fatal exception that crashed my game. I was not able to save or anything because it's Heads Will Roll difficulty, and so I lost the whole playthrough. A lot of other people on the Steam forum have been reporting problems with this section of the game. A lot of things seem to possibly be bugged in this area. So we might get an unexpected game over due to technical reasons. We'll see. Okay. You've received a salary in accordance with your rank. You've received a bonus payment in accordance with your prestige level. Alright, we are going to do a little more training. I think if I do another agility, it's going to lower my strength. No, I'm good. Good. There's nobody to be trained by here. So, and sparring won't do anything to me because I'm past that skill level. So I can really only work on these right here. Alright, let's socialize with the village chief. Following DeRoche's instructions, you ask the chief of Oisil about volunteers who would be willing to go in search of the brigand with weapons in their hand. The chief readily replies that for a small fee he will quickly find you suitable people. We're gonna pay 100 florins to get some absolutely trash guys. Okay. Level 1, level 2, level 2, level 2, level 1, level 3, level 2, level 1, level 1, level 3. Okay, I have no intention of even attempting to try to keep these guys alive. I'm getting them just as targets. So we'll get not very serious Elias. Whoa, what just happened? I want to recruit more cannon fodder, please. Harry Alfred. I'm avoiding these spear guys because they're probably two-handed spears. Well, there's not really many other level 1s available to use as cannon fodder. Endurance or coordination? Let's go with Unstoppable Oliver. Oh, I can actually throw one more in. Okay, Patrick the Boar. So, these are all level 1 cannon fodder. Any of them got shields? He's got a shield, good. That's about the only piece of equipment that is going to... he's even got a shield. Oh, all 4 of them have shields, good. It'll make it a little slower to kill off the cannon fodder. Alright, let's take on the first pack. What are we dealing with? We've got a guy with poison weapon here with weapon skill 7. That's not very good. This guy's even weapon skill 3. That's even worse. Alright, we'll start with him. So I sort of want to wound him. Alright, I'm trying to wound him here, but I probably won't. At least I made him bleed. Weapon skill 7, poison axe. I'm gonna take a quick respite. One cannon fodder down. How did I get so tired? Back to fresh. Another cannon fodder down. Locked with shield. No, I'm gonna do a respite here. It's funny, he's injured, and it was this guy that injured him, not me. Not me with the weapon specially designed to injure people. Intimidated by your ferocity, the enemies seemingly start having second thoughts about their decision to mess with you. Guess we gotta go for the kill. One of the cannon fodder made it through the battle. Okay, how about coordination? Endurance. And hire some more targets. Not very bright Gregory. Silent Wilbert. Almost normal Bernard. We'll leave Patrick the Boar. Should we level him up? Why not? Maybe he'll live through the next battle too, and we'll get one peasant out of the deal that's okay. Did he lose his shield? Alright. We're gonna train one more time, I think. Oh, fatigue level increased from searching for the bandits. That's why I was tired. This guy's got a poison weapon. So does he. Weapon skill 4 versus weapon skill 7. He's the easier target though. We'll go for the easy target. I kind of want to wound him. But of course I won't. Well, not very bright Gregory is no longer with us. Blocked. lived. Is that my level 2 guy? I think it is. Okay, we don't want him. What the hell? Somebody blinded me? This guy's trying to earn his keep. He lived through another fight. Yay. Good. Another wooden shield I get to get damaged. I'm getting a collection of shields. Your lack of authority results in low subordination among your men, huh? Instead of preparing for the next mission, they spend their time gambling at a local tavern. Patrick the Boar gambled away his helmet. Dumbass. Alright, he has a new helmet. He has a shield now. More targets, please. Long Antony. Jean the Godless. Oh, come on, we need another level 1. Can't be wasted money on a guy who's just gonna die. Main attributes, main attributes, main attributes. Agility, short sword. Sure. Possessed Reginald. Really? You have no shield? You do. You don't. Can I give him some damaged wooden shield? Yeah, here. Wait, no. Damn it. That's not what I clicked on. I clicked on... and it didn't give it back to me. Alright, whatever. I'm over it. And what am I doing? Trade. Kite shield is worse than a heater, right? Yeah, 302. Let's sell some of the stuff. Padded coins, cross pendant, plates, batons. Even get rid of those. Huh? All my shields are like fixed all of a sudden? I swear they used to be broken. I'm not gonna complain. I thought I had time. Now I'm gonna be... As one would expect, about halfway to the city, your squad is ambushed by large band of brigands. In the blink of the eye, you are knocked out of the saddle and dealt with a few solid blows. The club that knocked your breath out. So when you have X amount of time in a chapter, you think you have X amount of time in a chapter. You don't expect halfway through the chapter to be like, oh, we need to go now. He damaged my armor, son of a biscuit. Four rounds just to get my stamina. I have no respite. Okay, this guy. I'm finally fresh. And I'm annoyed that my armor is damaged. This is the boar, I think. Yeah. 3 turns of poison, eh? Get out of here, Patrick. Another one? Damn it. Well, at least he doesn't have a shield. Hmm. Really? Ah, crap. What the hell's going on here? Is this guy like weapon skill 5 and he's landing stuff? Unbelievable. Alright, he should bleed out if he doesn't bandage. Come on, swing at me. shouldn't have that much fatigue to recover. Butcher's Blade. Nice. I might actually end up using that. Wow. Lots of stuff. After defeating the brigand squad, you return to Oisel. What? The hell's going on here? Lightly damaged. Well, we're gonna leave it in place. Is it better? 3 points of strength is like a point of damage, right? So the 3 strength is really the same as having +1 damage. Increase damage dealt to armor. I'm gonna lose that. I'm gonna lose prolonging the bleeding. I'm gonna get extra chance to inflict injury, which I never seem to do, but maybe it'll help. And it'll take away this chance to poison. I think whenever this procs poison, it's stealing the opportunity for an injury to proc. If that makes any sense. So I think we are going to swap this out. That's a pretty fancy piece of kit there, but it would lower my stats. I'm not ready to have my stats lowered currently. Oh wait, there is one other thing I wasn't thinking about. I used some of my consumables. Do I have any wine or an antidote? Yeah, I do have wine. Here we go. Equip. Guess we'll throw one of those antidotes in. And is the character healthy? Not quite. Now I am. So one would expect about halfway to the city your squad is ambushed by a large band of brigands. Again, I don't know why we're doing this a second time. You're knocked from your saddle again. I gotta go through all that again. And I don't have any... Oh, I do have old boar here to be a target for a bit. At least I seem to be fresh this time. 5, and I think you're dead, dude. And I'm not using any consumables on you, sorry. Good luck. Maimed. Woohoo! yeah, hopefully I don't have to do this again. Obviously, this is some sort of bug. I'm hoping that we're not stuck in a never-ending fight brigands loop. That's what you get for reloading your crossbow. Of course. Here we go again. An axe worth 50. Scabbard at 35. You return to Ossel. You failed to clear the road in time, and DeRoche is unwilling to delay any longer. Gives the order to move out anyway. Oh, Jesus. I think that's where we're going to wrap up this episode, guys. We seem to be stuck in a loop. This area of the game is very buggy. Yeah, I don't know what to say other than right now it seems like trying to go this French route is incredibly buggy, and it's just not really working very well. So if you're playing Heads Will Roll yourself, you might want to just wait for the developer to iron out some of the bugs on this particular path. I am going to save and quit. I wonder, is there a way that... Wish there was a way I could end my campaign and just get the points I've accumulated to this date. Because this will be 2 runs in a row that I've basically wasted my time getting to around the same spot in the campaign. Anyway, I'm James Johnson, aka Sulfurblade. This is my content. Hopefully you're enjoying it. If so, please smash that like button, consider subscribing, and until the next time, all, peace.